right, what it do, man? This is your boy North End Floyd with another episode of the Kickback Podcast, man. And we have a guest that I've been knowing for a long time. I'm talking about like over 20 some years for sure. So, what I'm saying? It's gonna be a dope show. It's gonna be a dope, interesting show. So I've been looking forward to this. So hey, why don't you introduce yourself, guest and
Yes,
other guests?
sir. My name's Lesley. I am a 33-year-old single mom. Here's one of my babies. She don't want to let me be great right now.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what I'm saying? I've been knowing you for a long time and stuff, and you've been doing a lot of incredible things. Like when I've been seeing like your stuff on Facebook, like your posts, I'm like, what? She doing this? What? She doing that? So, you know what I'm saying? Let's just talk about where you from, and like where
Yes,
about,
sir.
you know.
Yes, sir. So I am from Beaumont, born and raised South Park, sometimes North End. I've been
For
all
sure.
over. I grew up in that street lifestyle
For
to
sure.
where, we got it how we live. We got it out the mud.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, I had reached a point in my life to where I had to change my ways. I had to change how I did things because I wasn't prospering the way that my mind was going.
Mm.
So whenever I had the issue that happened to where CPS had took my kids, that really, really changed my life. My son almost died. And at that point, that was my turning point basically to
Mm.
where I really changed my life. I did a whole 360 because
Yeah.
my children are important to me, and that was one of the reasons why we moved out of Beaumont.
Yo,
Like,
not to interrupt you, but I want to point out too, like, sometimes we gotta hit like everybody has that certain instances when they hit that wall and they gotta tell themselves, look, I either need to change my life around or just continue going down spiral. I mean, spiral down. Now, one thing that you said, like your kids, like, so I remember when I had my son, which is your nephew,
yeah,
and I was hanging out in the streets and I was, hanging with the homies and stuff like that. And that made me like get serious, like as far as like job wise, because I couldn't just be hanging out spending money with the homies. I had to get Pampers, I had to get milk and all that. So it made me, it made me come to a conclusion like, what do I need to do? Do I need to just continue hanging with the homies or just be like, that dad that's not there, or do I need to try to provide for my son? So you said as far as CPS. Now, who called CPS on you? Was it some hating female did that or
no,
no?
no. My son had got a hold to some fake marijuana,
Okay.
and he swallowed it. It shut his whole system down, so
Mm,
he had to be life flighted to Houston. And the people was asking, what all did I know? And me, I'm an honest person. I gave him the whole truth, and I
for
told
sure.
him, he had swallowed the fake weed because I wanted them to help my baby. So
Mm-hmm.
when I told them about the fake weed, that was an automatic CPS case. I
Mm,
already knew what it was. So I had went to prepare my son about it, and this was like my first time ever really dealing with CPS.
mm,
And that was like the longest 90 days of my life. I remember that was like Christmas and Thanksgiving. I couldn't have my kids and I was
mm.
crying. And I told myself I didn't never want to feel that no more.
You got a chance to visit them and stuff?
I did. I did. As a matter of fact, they used to, both of them stay right around the corner from my old job. So,
Mm.
like on the weekends, some days on the weekdays, I would go visit them, make sure they were straight. Then I would go back home. But that
So
was
how
a, go ahead.
so how was it like you saying growing up you was getting out the mud and all that? So how was it like going to school? Was you focused on school at the time?
Well, I was always smart. I
Mm-hmm.
always had straight A's, but I tended to want to go to the street life and the drug life,
For
which
sure.
really took me off path.
Mm.
So I graduated valedictorian of my high school class, but
Oh, where?
however, yeah, yeah, but however, I like after high school, I went to college, but like when you put yourself around a certain group of people, you
Mm.
tend to do the things that they do,
For
and
sure.
that's what I did. I
Yeah.
chose the street life. I chose the drug life, and that's why I got set so far behind.
Mm. So the fake marijuana was that was yours?
Yes, that was mine. That's what I used to smoke. Um, whoo, I used to be on everything. I was actually smoking that to wean myself off of the stronger stuff because I was
Ah,
always trying to find a way to, because I knew my addiction was bad. And I
yeah,
was trying to find something to, substitute for the
for
stronger
sure.
stuff. So I kind
Yeah.
of felt that, thank you, baby. I kind of felt that smoking that fake stuff would help me.
Hmm.
But it really, really took me off on a whole nother path, especially with my son's situation and stuff.
So, so let's go back to it. What finally said, okay, let me change my life around?
Whenever Javion, he didn't wake up for 5 days. He
Mm,
was in ICU. I didn't think he was gonna make it, and I could remember crying and crying and praying like I never did before, and reading that Bible over him like I never did before. And I told myself in that moment, like, if God saved my son, I was gonna change and I wasn't gonna go back.
hmm.
So I made that vow in that moment, and I stuck to it.
Okay, so how are you currently in Beaumont now?
No, I'm currently in Fort Worth.
So what made you move to Fort Worth then?
So I wanted to find a better environment, not only for my kids,
Hmm.
but I also didn't want to backslide. And I know in
Okay.
Beaumont, that's all I knew. And like my crowd I ran with, that's all I knew. So I
Mm,
wanted to have something different, be
mm,
around different people, maybe get different perspectives and a different outlook of life.
yeah.
So I felt it was time for us to get out of Beaumont because, with the book that I wrote and with everything that I had going on, I felt like being in Beaumont was going to have me stuck. I wasn't going to advance.
Yeah.
So whenever I did make that move, God showed like we in a whole nother aspect up here. Like I used to be on food stamps, I used to be on housing like all my life.
Hmm.
But then when he had transferred us over here, it's like I can't get food stamps, I can't get housing, and it is a blessing to say that because I was thinking, I was gonna be on government assistance all my life. But God
Yeah.
is good, and He could
For sure.
change around any situation.
So, I always say, what I'm saying, the circle you hang around, and you said that the circle you hang around is what you become. And like when you change and you start hanging around different people, especially positive people, you know what I'm saying, that makes you feel different. So let me say this. So I was hanging around like the homies in the hood and stuff, and I started eventually hanging around like people that was like going to school, going to college, that was trying to do certain things. And he used to tell me all the time, like, man, why don't you go to college? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? You don't want to work here forever, right? And they used to like push me to go back to school until finally, you know what I'm saying? I said, yo, yeah, you're right. Let me go back to school. Let me see what it is. Let me try to become something because, like you said, I when I went fresh out of high school, I went to college, but I didn't have it in me. My homeboys was still in the hood, and I wanted to be with them. So I ended up dropping out of college and stuff, and later on hanging with a different crowd, hanging with cats that was going to college and always talking about this and that, and it inspired me to go to back to college to do something with myself. So I feel what you're saying as far as like you getting out of Beaumont, to get away from that crowd. Because when you hang around certain people, like positive people, it inspires you to do positive stuff, or it inspires you to do the things that they're doing. So I definitely feel you as far as moving out. So why did you choose Fort Worth though?
Well, my older sister was out here, and I
Mm,
needed to find somewhere with some kind of support. So
okay,
this was the best option that I could find.
for sure. Are you satisfied with Fort Worth? Are you thinking about this was a great start? Let me go to Dallas. Let me go to Houston. Let me go to Austin, San Antonio, or whatever it may be.
Honestly, right now where I'm at, I'm good because I don't want to be somewhere that's too fast, like Dallas and Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Like Forward is not that fast. It's
For
kind of
sure.
like Beaumont, but it's not too fast.
Okay.
So right now, this is good. This is good. Exactly where I'm at and what I'm doing is perfect.
Okay. So you was talking about church and God and stuff like that. When did you start really getting heavily involved into that though?
Okay, so this was when I was pregnant with Javion. This is the one who almost passed.
Mm-hmm.
I would go to church and I was praying for deliverance. I was, but I never really shook it off until after that happened with Javion. So
Okay.
I had started going to church when I was pregnant with him, and I was praying and I was doing the whole Bible thing. But however, I wasn't consistent with it. I wasn't. Not like I am now. I didn't
Mm,
get consistent in it until that happened with Jay. And then I realized like the days that I didn't get my word, I was a whole nother person. And then
mm.
the days I did get my word, I was focused and steady. So that's what keeps me focused. That's what keeps me steady. Because I do a lot, and it can get overwhelming at times. But me keeping my head in that Bible, that helps me overcome everything that comes my way.
So it was kind of like your medicine because when you didn't get it, you
Exactly.
acted.
In
For
my
sure.
daily bread.
Yeah, for sure. I feel that. Okay, so let's get into the things that I started seeing on Facebook. Like, whoa, Leslie did she doing this, she doing that, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I haven't seen you in a minute, and stuff like that. And seeing you do these different things, it's like, wow, I didn't know she had that in her. And like certain people when they see like me doing like podcast shows and making positive posts and stuff, and they be like, man, I remember you in the hood, like, you know what I'm saying, ready to go to South Park or Power Archer to go fight and do this, and now you doing positives and stuff like that.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
what inspired you to write your book? What's the name of it, and
Used to
how
wonder
they can
why
get it?
me.
That's the name of it.
Yep. Used to wonder. I got the.
Yeah, let's see it
Yeah. Used to wonder why me.
for sure, for sure. So,
Yes.
what
Yes.
what what inspired you to do the book?
So basically, I wanted to share my story. I know that I have a powerful story that could really, really help some people, especially the people that are going through the things that I have went through,
Mm-hmm.
and they could use that as a guidance. It also has prayers in there. It has like wisdom quotes to live by. It
Mm,
is very inspirational. And I felt like if I could share my story, there is a whole bunch of women that's going through that right now that could see that there is a way out, that they don't have to live just any kind of way. And that's my goal. My goal is to help inspire other women that live or live in the same life that I live, that baby girls, we could change. We ain't got to stay like that.
mm. Now, when you said let me write a book, how did you go about writing a book? Because like I want to write a book, but I was like, how the heck do I go by, what's the first step and stuff like that? So what helped you push you to write that book? Like, what's the steps you got to go through if somebody's saying, I want to write a book, she inspired me to write my book. What would you tell them? Like, what are the steps do they have to go through?
First, I would tell them to do their research.
Mm,
Always do your research, because they have some people that tells you they'll give you these services and they won't. So
mm,
make sure whoever you're dealing with, they're legit, and make sure they have good reviews on them.
okay.
As far as getting an editor, first it would be to write. Write down all your ideas, everything, no matter how sloppy and unorganized it may be. Just get those thoughts on paper.
Okay.
Once you can get that booklet filled up, you take it to an editor. Have them switch around that story to make it sound good, look good, and then you can get it self-published yourself.
Mm.
And I do know a publisher as well. She's great, and the one who published my book, and I could give leads with her as well because she did awesome.
So, okay, so like with your cover, hey, can you hold the book up?
Yep.
Okay, so with the cover, how'd you go by like picking out your cover and all that? What did you say? Okay, I want this to be my cover and all that. So, how'd you go by that?
Okay, so I actually had paid someone to get the editing and the book cover and everything for me. So basically, the first publisher that I had hired, she had did the book cover, and it didn't really go through as far as like the editing and stuff. But basically, she picked it out and I approved it. They'll give
Okay.
you a few options and whatever you like, or you can provide the whatever you want on your cover, and they can make it look good. But
Mm.
they're in charge of that.
So, I mean, are you planning on doing more books since you did this book? Like what
I
or
am.
this
I am. I really want to get my life coaching business up off the ground before I do.
okay.
Right now, I got a lot of stuff my hands is in right now, so I did want to kind of wait, because I'm not gonna lie. When I wrote this book, in the process of it, I was tested in so many different areas of my life,
Mm.
especially like my testimonies in the book. Like, I was tested. So I just want to say this: if anybody do want to get a book out, you will be tested, but you have to endure all of those trying times, no matter what, and keep putting one foot in front of the other when the devil try to trip you, because he
So
will.
So how long did it take you to write this book? To finally say, let
Okay,
me send it to the editor.
okay, it was like a good year and a half. I was writing down stuff.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, about a good year and a half.
And you say like this book is like for people that's going through like certain things and stuff like that.
Yep, it's inspirational. It has verses, it has prayers, it has even a research that I did about like mental health and spirituality and mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, baby, hold on. Go get it, baby. So, um, basically, my theory is a person who has mental illness, if they're in that word, they're going to still experience those mental illness issues. However, it won't be as strong and it won't
Mm,
take over them as much. And that's my theory about like really staying in my word. People don't realize they have a whole bunch of potential, but they'll
mm.
never find it looking at the stuff in the world. They'll
Facts.
only find it looking at that word. So that's my motivation as well.
Yeah, and I think like because sometimes we see like people make like positive posts and they do this and do that, but they really didn't go through no struggle. You know what I'm saying? And they're really like outside looking in, making these positive posts, but they didn't go through no struggle. They don't really have the character and stuff like that. So you going through these type of things, you know what I'm saying? I think it make it real heartfelt and realistic that okay, yeah, let me get this book because she been through it and I like her story, and this can help me, through certain instances and stuff like that. So, but where can people find this book at though?
Well, you can get it on Amazon. It is on Barnes and Noble, Books a Million.
Oh,
I
it's
do
everywhere.
have a couple of websites that I have them on. LesleyLofton.com. Then I have LoveLivingLife.llc.
Mm.
However, I have been having issues, with the website and stuff. So I would just have them to inbox me. That's the quickest way, and I can send a link.
Okay, so let me get on something else because the book is very important. Because I'm gonna end up hitting you a little bit later, so you can send me, what I'm saying, a link so I can get the book or stuff.
Yes, sir.
But you got your own seasoning, like,
Yes.
yo, it be tripping me out. I don't know too many. I know a couple other people now, but back in the days, I didn't know any black people that was like making their own seasoning and stuff like that. We'll buy seasoning from the store, but as far as black people and stuff, we like to cook, we like to season stuff. We joke at people that don't season food and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, what made you create your own seasoning?
So one day, I always like to cook, and I cook good. I cook
Okay.
really good. So one day, I was in the kitchen, and I like to blend my seasonings because using all those different bottles, I just want to put it in one bottle.
Mm,
So one day, I made this mix, and I put all this stuff in one bottle, and I was like, "This is good. I can
mm,
really sell this."
mm.
So that gave me the idea. Keep that seasoning because honestly, it also helps the food way more tender. It makes it tender, and it's not
Okay.
too salty. It's perfect. It's perfect.
So you can use this seasoning for everything.
Anything you put on, it'll make it taste good. Even like like the little canned foods that's already pre-made or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Put a little bit of that seasoning on it, make it taste like it's homemade.
So, so you was cooking for the family and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
I used
that.
to have like 14, 15 kids at my house at times because I was like the cool auntie.
Okay, all right, for sure. I didn't know you was over there, the one that was cooking all the food and stuff like that. So, how can I'm gonna ask? That's the other question. Then. How can people get the seasoning and stuff like that? So, how did you go by the process of like, what I'm saying, creating your own seasoning and packaging it and selling it? So,
So,
what did you have to go through? Because it looked like you've been doing a lot of research to get a lot of stuff happening.
uh-huh. Yeah.
For sure.
So, first I just made the mix and then I just had it in the regular seasoning bottles that I was using. And
Mm-hmm.
then something told me just get you some of your own seasoning bottles and make it look a little bit more efficient. So I went
Mm-hmm.
and got some little seasoning bottles. At first I started off with the glass ones. They wasn't big enough, so I started off with another size. So
Yeah.
then I was like, well, let me go ahead and get some stickers on there to make it official. So
Yeah.
I went and ordered my stickers and I got them on there. So My next thing is to get like a back covering on it so it could give like more details about it.
Okay. Now, is it strictly online, or can people go to like a stores, or is that the next step?
That's the next step. That's my next step. I want to have it in the stores one day soon, God
Like
willing.
HEB.
Yes, yes. That's what I
Yeah.
want to start doing soon. Is try to get them on them shelves.
So how can somebody get the seasoning now?
You can inbox me. That's the quickest way. I can send a link. Or, like I said, we do have loveliving.life.llc. You can get the seasons on there and LesleyLofton.com. You can get them also on there.
So you got your own website where you can get the seasoning, and you can get the book on the website too.
Yes, sir.
Oh dang.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you this. Okay, back in the days, did you always knew you had this potential doing all these things, or growth and going through certain things pushed you to be like, oh man, I could actually do anything I want? But did you see this like back in the days, and was it just like the people you was hanging around with and maybe drugs and stuff just said, I ain't worried about that?
I had no self esteem. I
Mm,
really didn't know my worth. I really didn't know my value. I was just kind of there, just doing something. And
mm,
it really wasn't until I really stepped back from everything and everybody and focused on myself that I started learning, Lesley, you can do this, and Lesley, you can do that. I didn't have to be what everybody else wanted me to be. I could do my own thing. And I didn't
mm.
learn that until I got really deep in my word.
So what's this next? What do you think? What's the next step? I mean, because you say you got your hands in a lot of different things. So you got the book, you got the seasoning. Like, what else? What's next? Is it another book, or you got like another seasoning that you want to do? Like what's the next thing for you though?
So I plan on making different blends. The seasoning, I want to have a lemon pepper blend, and I want to have a
Mm,
spicy blend of the seasoning. And right now, for the next couple of years, while I'm in school right now, I had went back for my master's. So for the next year, I want to just focus on my studies and still do, like, I have a YouTube channel to where I do short sermons, and I just want to focus on that and my studies. And
mm-hmm.
then once I graduate with my master's, I plan on picking up my own life coaching clients because that's what
Mm,
I aspire to be. I want to be a life coach. I want to inspire other women to find their full potential, no matter if they're
for sure.
single, married, whatever. Anybody that really just need to find them, I want to be there to help inspire them to find them.
Yeah, no doubt, because it's so much negativity in the world and stuff that as far as the positive stuff gets overlooked. Like
Mm-hmm.
even on social media, like negative, that like that let I mean a lot of people gravitates towards that. If you post a fight or something, it's gonna be like thousands of views watching that fight.
Yes.
But if you post something positive, or you feeding a homeless guy or whatever the case may be, it's gonna get a little attention. So,
Mm-hmm.
I advise anybody, if they're doing something positive, whatever, just stick to it. Just stay patient and just stay on course. Because if it's meant for you, and if you believe in it, then just stick it out. Like I
That's
always
it.
tell people, quitting is not gonna get you to where you need to be and stuff like that. So, but um, did you help? Okay, because a lot of people ask me about certain things, like how do you do that? How do you do this? And how do you do that? Now, you're doing a lot of things. Do you have help, or you just research it and go through the process and the patience and all that?
Researching and trusting in God. That's
Exactly.
that's my thing.
I like to tell a lot of people, because people tell me all the time, like, "Hey, how do you start a podcast? How do you start your clothing line? How do you do this?" And I tell people all the time, look, research, like YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
um, uh, Bing, whatever research kind of things they got, man. You know what I'm saying? Take your time, and like, if you really want it, you're gonna research it and try to figure out the best way you can. I,
That's
I,
it.
I have people all the time ask me about podcasting, and I tell them, I was like, look, just jump on YouTube and Google how to start a podcast. It's gonna be a million videos. Now, what you do is just go through the videos and you learn as much as you can, and you just take it from there. Because you can only lead a person so far till, hey, if you want it, is you gonna have to jump off the porch and go get it. I can't tell you everything.
That's it.
So, before we get out of here, I just want to ask you, if somebody's going through, like, if a female is going through something hard, or what you went through, and they don't have nobody to help them, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to trust in God. I mean, I know it's easier said than done, but I found that trusting in people we let down every time, no
Mm.
matter who they are, because some people are dealing with their own battles to where they can't always be there for us when we need them. So trusting in God and reading that word, it's gonna get them out of whatever situation they in.
Yeah, no doubt. And what I'm saying, I just want to say for sure, um, I've been checking you out on Facebook, and I'm proud of
Thank you.
the growth, from back in the days, because we was out in the streets and young, and
Yes,
just kind of lost out there.
that's it.
And to see that now you're writing a book, where you wrote a book, you got your own seasoning and stuff like that. That's incredible. You know what I'm saying? And I could see that you having it. I could see that seasoning in the stores, and your books, or multiple books selling. I'm gonna get the book because, you know, um, like I said, I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? Writing your own
Thank
book, I think
you.
that's a big accomplishment and stuff like that.
Thank you.
So I just want to let you know that I'm proud of you for what you've been doing.
Appreciate you. Thank you much.
Okay, and also, if you wouldn't mind, what I'm saying, like, in the show, or doing the show, or whatever, after, you can just give me some links. I'll post it up for people, you know what I'm saying, and they can find out. I mean, they could, check it out, and how to get that book, how to get your seasoning and all that. And you did say the seasoning can go on any and everything.
Anything, everything.
So, I mean, you cooking, have you ever thought about starting, like, your own, like, like, selling food or something like that, or that's just something like you and
I've
done?
thought about it, but all of the stuff that I do right now, it would not be a good time.
Mm.
Because I work full time, I go to school, I got the kids, then the business thing. So, yeah,
And
that's
being a single, like, one thing, what I'm saying, being a single mom, being a single parent, period, is hard. That is hard. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of the hardest jobs out there. So, like, seeing you right now doing all these things, you know what I'm saying? A person can't really make an excuse as far as being a single dad or a single mom out there. You know what I'm saying? If you want the best for you, then you go do it. You're not gonna make excuses. And
it.
I see you out there doing your thing, and you're not making no excuses. So, you know what
That's
I'm
it.
saying? Salute to you for sure.
Thank you, Floyd.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I want to thank you for spending, like, what I'm saying, time with me. What I'm saying, sharing your story, because, what I'm saying, that's real. A lot of people are scared to share their story, but I like the way you want to, motivate people and inspire people, especially that, that's been through the struggle. So for sure, I feel you on that.
Amen. Amen. And thank you again for having me on the show, Floyd. I appreciate it.
For sure, man. Hey, I want to wish you, like, a blessed weekend. You
Thank
know what I'm
you.
saying, and I want you to take care. I'm gonna keep in touch with you. I'm gonna get that book for sure.
Amen.
And I just want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you again, Floyd, for having me. You have a blessed night as well.
All right, take care. Be safe.
Yes, sir. You too.
All right,
Bye.
bye. So look out, man. That was the show, man. You know what I'm saying? That was a quick, what I'm saying, dope show for sure. You know what I'm saying? I like doing shows about that. I like doing shows with people that, um, that just got it out the mud, man. You know what I'm saying? That you struggle, went through certain things in life, but didn't let that, deter them. And they started doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? I remember her back in the days. You know what I'm saying? That's to be honest with you, that's my son's aunt. And so for sure, I know her real good. You know what I'm saying? We was all out there in the streets, you know what I'm saying, thugging or whatever it was. But to see now, years later, she got her own book, she got her own seasoning. She's gonna be a life coach, man. You gotta salute that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be proud of that and stuff like that. She didn't let the streets take her and stuff like that. So that's a dope story to, what I'm saying, have. So I'm definitely gonna check out her book. I'm definitely gonna read the book. I'm definitely gonna support, because that's real right there. And I appreciate her coming from the show and sharing her story, because a lot of people is have too much pride to to even come and talk like that. So man, look, I'm gonna send the link. Y'all gonna see the link on here as far as the season, as far as the book. What I'm saying? Show love, support, and stuff like that. Because I see big things in our future. What I'm saying? I see her seasoning in the store. I see her writing multiple books. I'm seeing her inspire a lot of women out there for sure. So man, look, hey, this is the Kickback Podcast Show, man. This is your boy North End Floyd, man. Hey, y'all can check out the show on every platform: Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, YouTube, IG, Twitter. I'm everywhere, man. Y'all check your boy out, man. This is the Kickback Podcast Show. This is your boy North End Floyd. Y'all be safe. Y'all be blessed. Y'all take care. I'm out.